the kind of photography that would become part of the human being. Press a button and have the picture.
Okay, folks, welcome to In an Instant Live, and welcome to Polacon Day 2. Let's go, let's go. I love the energy. We're gonna want to keep that going. So it's been 5 years since I launched the channel In an Instant, and 3 years of Polacon NYC, and life keeps going on, and I think it's good to take some moments to celebrate, you know, really sit in it and enjoy. So let's just take a moment of silence for still doing stuff. Great. Okay, so we've got a rotation of guests today. This is going to be sort of a rapid fire format. We're going to have some giveaways. We have a spinning wheel here. We have some prizes we're going to give away, like I just said. We have a hat, we have a camera, we have film. It's all very exciting. So now I'd like to welcome our first guest to the stage. From the 2024 project, we have Harriet Brous and John Reuter. Get up here, folks. Yes. Okay, so I don't want to be the one to introduce you guys. I'd rather hear it from your lips. What is it that you're doing with the 20x24 camera? What is that? Sort of give me a background.
Well, the 20x24 camera, if you don't know, is a device that Polaroid invented in 1976. It was kind of the creative apex of the old Polaroid Corporation, and it's something I've been doing almost from the very beginning. Through the years, we went through the artist support program, and then the old Polaroid went away. I actually founded a company to spin out from that, and so we've continued this process all this time with my colleague Nafis, who's here in the audience with us. So we've continued that process, but more recently, the new Polaroid has come along and decided to get in that game also. So they restored a camera about 3 years ago, right, Ruben? That they've been working very hard on that. I got drawn into the project summer of 2023. And met Hattie in the fall of 2023, and then we've been off and running since using integral film in the 20x24, which be careful what you wish for. So some interesting things we're discovering as we go, but it's been great so far. And we've gone to, let's see, Venice, Ghana, Paris, London. We just came back from Italy for, I mean, I know it sounds terrible, but somebody's got to do this, you know, and we're happy to take on the role.
And Hattie, what is your role within this ecosystem of the return of the 20x24?
So I am the camera operator, so I work alongside John, processing, loading film, and yeah, so all hands on deck.
So presumably you had no experience doing this beforehand?
I've shot like a lot of 8x10, not that it's like, it's kind of similar in a way, you know what I mean, with like the different steps and stuff like this, but yeah, I learned really quick. I went to the factory a couple of times with Ruben, and he kind of, showed me the ropes. And then it was kind of like straight into it. And John's like an amazing mentor and teacher, and very, very patient because, I definitely messed up a couple of times. But
every mistake she makes, I've made 100 times over the last 40 years, easily.
I find it very compelling that the modern Polaroid company wanted to dip back into something that holds such substantial historical value. Were you surprised? I mean...
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Tell me about what was it like when they first came to you and were like, we want to get this thing back up and running?
Well, believe it or not, we had run integral film back in the 80s in the old Polaroid, and decided it was just too much trouble, particularly when we had peel apart. You know, as long as you have peel apart, to me, it's a much more suitable large format film. I think a lot of people who shoot 8x10 might agree. But it's what we have. It's really interesting to push the envelope on that film and find out what it can do, because it's a way different animal than smaller format. You know, it's designed for that format, not for this format. And so there are weird intricacies that take place over a much larger web and everything that we're still learning. The stuff is alive for several weeks after we make a picture, which is a bit of a surprise.
But I mean, the company comes to you and is like, John, we want to do this. Are you just like, what? Were you shocked? I mean, what was it like before they reached out to you?
Yeah, you know, I've obviously followed, you know, I was good friends with Doc Capps when he founded Impossible. Like, you know, I've tracked them through the years. We've kept a bit of an arm's length distance from the new Polaroid through the years. I think we both admire each other, and to me, it's just great to come full circle, you know, because when I started in Polaroid, it was straight out of graduate school. I was, I think, 25 years old or so, and it's great to work with younger people. You know, Nijhuis, getting a little older right now, but we've been working 14 years, and he was young when I started. I've aged him immeasurably in the last few years, and now I'm working on Hattie, so I'm gonna bring her up to 40 or 50 in a couple of months. So,
So Hattie, you mentioned having worked with the 8x10 modern process.
Yeah.
There may be some people here who don't know the distinction between the things we're saying, and as someone who is coming from that background, maybe walk me through the broad strokes technical challenges of learning what the 20x24 is, can do, maybe a little bit of how it works.
20x24?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's lots of steps. Like, first of all, you've got like 3 components to to the film. You've got the sheet of negative, the sheet of positive, and then the separate pods as well. So you load in the negative, and then you load in the positive.
On
and
a
then
roll. It's all on a roll.
It's all on a roll, yeah, which is wound by Ruben.
Yeah.
Hand rolled by Ruben. Thank you for that. And so, yeah, in the old cameras, they had like a pod tray that would kind of eject pods as they went. But now we have to do it manually. So you stick the pod on, and then it's kind of got for those familiar with the 8x10 processor, it's got like a giant processor inside which processes the rollers. So once you've kind of pulled the negative down and exposed the photo, it then processes it all, pulls it through the rollers, and then it comes out the bottom.
And it's just a huge peel that you're peeling.
It's
over.
huge, yeah.
We don't peel integral.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's also things like temperature, so really have to keep an eye on that, you know? So it's like the regular format, but then large, and so it's we have a thermometer inside the camera and things like this.
What?
And there's a hairdryer system that John came up with that we heat the pods. It's it's a whole trip.
But yeah, they really mean it about the hot and cold shit. I mean, it's those temperatures are true.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I experienced that in sort of a minor way with integral film normally. But so you mentioned a lot of the places that you've gone with this camera. What exactly are you doing with it?
Working with artists we have 2 curators that Polaroid Foundation has brought on board to do it. And so the whole idea is for it to be independent of the current Polaroid Corporation. They don't want to repeat the mistakes of the old Polaroid having integrated their artist support totally within the companies so that all the works produced were property of the old Polaroid and hence subject to auction when the company went bankrupt. So we've established a legal structure that'll prevent that from ever happening, and so that's great. And also it gives us a distance from the artists. And they're surprise artists. You know, very few of them are photographers so far. We worked with Carrie Mae Weems most recently in Turin. That was great, but most of the other artists have been sculptors, painters, conceptual artists and things, and I just love that. I mean, it's really interesting to see the approach of someone who is not only not a photographer, but when they walk up to this machine, I think they just have a way different reaction than a photographer might, you know, because they have no attachment or semblance of how to deal with it at all.
Right.
It's a really interesting take that they have on it. So
That's very cool. I have some really difficult questions for you now.
Oh, God.
Okay, so a global shadow government has decided to resurrect one human being for the purposes of taking a 20x24 Polaroid portrait, and they will go back to being dead afterward. Who would you want the global shadow government to resurrect for a portrait captured by you? And you each have to answer a different person, ideally.
all right, John Lennon.
John Lennon, there's no limits to what you can imagine.
Oh my God, we're going to be here. How much time?
How much time? Let's see, 10 seconds?
I would like to shoot Amy Winehouse, actually.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
It'd be a great pair.
Yeah.
Great pair.
Okay. All right, those are some good choices. Okay, if Edwin Land happened to be resurrected in a totally unrelated way to the last question, what do you think he would make of our digital imaging world? Do you think he would still shoot Polaroid, or would digital have sort of supplanted his vision of one-step photography?
That's a really great question because, you know, he would have, I think, still had a film attachment, but I'll bet would have integrated digital technology into the creation of it. You know, the sensors would grab it. And I mean, it's stuff that the current Polaroid has worked on already, but I think every time they've gone to that step, they've kind of pulled back and just gone pure analog.
Yeah.
I think maybe is a better thing because, as we know, digital can be super perfect. And yeah, I mean, the advantage of digital, low light capture, repeatability, all that kind of stuff. But I think we like the serendipity and the terror of working with Polaroid materials.
It definitely like keeps you on your toes. So.
Yeah. But I wonder whether Edwin Land's, did he want terror? You know what I mean? Like, he sort of seemed to be after this, like, the ease of it, the directness of it. And there's something that I wonder if digital would have been, maybe the thing.
Yeah, I mean, you think about that video where he pulls out his wallet and he opens it like a phone and he talks about that, like, doesn't really say what the delivery medium would be.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, somebody should have followed up question when he was talking about that, but they did not. So I think he would have, I mean, there's something about film that has a place for artists,
Yeah.
Digital's for everybody else.
Yeah, digital's for squares. Let's get a hand for digital. Yeah! Digital sucks. Well, thank you guys so much for coming up here for a rapid fire interview. You are excused from the platform.
Already.
And thank you so much. Let's give a hand. I want to do our first giveaway. I've got this wheel here, and it's got a bunch of spaces, and I'm just going to kind of arbitrarily say we're giving away a double pack of 600 film. All right, so yep. Okay, I have, let's see, what's the first question we're going to do? Okay. Aside from, and raise your hand if you have an answer. Aside from the SX70 lineage of cameras, so we're talking about the SLR 680, 690, and SX70. Aside from those cameras, name a Polaroid folding SLR with a glass lens. We have Zane in the back.
What is the Captiva?
Yes, the Captiva. Someone pass this to Zane. Great. I love that. That's someone who knows their knowledge. Zane is involved with the Open SX70 project. Did a great talk yesterday. So you'll be hearing more from that in an instant. Next up, we have Lou Noble, who's currently getting mic'd. As he gets mic'd, I'm going to go ahead and plug the Instant Film magazine, which is really quite beautiful. Lovely bit of printing. A lot of great artists are featured in here. I designed the advertisement on the back for Brooklyn Film Camera, which printed very, very fun. So yeah, that's something you can pick up over there for everyone who's here today. If you're watching this on YouTube, I need to get more information, but I'll put it right here below me as to where you can acquire this. So give a hand for the people who put together the Instant Film magazine. That's not an easy thing to do. All right, Lou, come up here. We got Lou Noble. Have a seat. Have a seat. Are you live? Is your mic live?
Can you hear me?
Papa, can you hear me? Okay, Lou. Just for everyone in the audience here, like, just quick, who are you?
I'm Lou Noble.
Nice. All right.
Thank you.
All right, you can have a seat.
Thank you very
and
much.
thank everyone to Lou Noble.
Oh, you want more?
Yeah, more maybe.
I'm a photographer. I've been using Polaroid since 1996. I run a photo site called the Photographic Journal. We do interviews and photo essays.
Okay.
Yeah.
A Polaroid shooter from 1996.
Yeah.
So
I'm old.
I want to take you back to 2008. I'm really sorry to do that because those were some dark times.
Good year for me.
Yeah, no.
Obama.
So, okay, the film is being discontinued. Polaroid has announced their third bankruptcy or whatever it was. You know your film is going away. What are you doing? Are you hoarding? Are you going on eBay? Are you going to CVS? Are you clearing shelves? Or are you like, okay, it's going away. I got to find something else to like?
I let it go.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to feel too precious about any particular photo. It would have ruined taking pictures for me.
Interesting.
So I used it as much as I could.
Yeah.
I would find it places, use it, and then I put it away.
Sheesh. You're a stronger man than I, Lou.
I know.
Okay, now we're gonna play a game called Verbally Fight, Marry, or Injure Severely. Who would you verbally fight, who would you marry, and who would you injure severely? Your choices are Polaroid, Fujifilm, and Kodak.
What are my options again?
You can verbally fight, so just a typical altercation.
Okay.
Marry, very sweet, nuptials. Injure severely. They're not gonna die, but.
Marry Polaroid.
Yep,
of
good
course.
choice. Yeah, all right.
What was the
Injure
injure? Oh, the other two are bad.
The other two are bad, but I mean,
mean-
you know, verbal altercations are not the worst.
I would do a verbal altercation with Fuji
Okay,
because
okay.
they did make instant film.
Sure,
And then they stopped.
Yeah.
And I would injure Kodak because they tried to steal from
They
Polaroid.
tried to steal Polaroid's technology, which we don't approve of. Intellectual property theft is something I'm very much against, and I think you are too.
Oh, 100%.
100%, 100%. Lou, you are somebody that has like a very specific style. If you haven't seen Lou's work, he does have a thing that you do.
Yes.
That is a portrait style that you stick to.
Yes.
And I find that that takes a lot of willpower.
Thank you.
And I'm curious how you narrowed down your artistic style to sort of be that. How does someone find that?
First, I found another photographer who I knew who had a very distinct style.
Okay.
And I wasn't looking, but I recognized that, oh man, this guy's got something special. Like I know his photos as soon as I see them. His name doesn't have to be there. I know who it is. And I was like, oh, I want a thing like that. But I wasn't actively searching. I just kept taking photos, and one day at a wedding, there it was. There
Really?
was the photo I wanted to take for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Of as many people as possible.
That is so cool. And what about Polaroid aligns with whatever that style ended up being?
How much time you got? I mean,
I have, well, let's see. People keep asking that. We have 1 minute for that question?
fantastic.
Okay.
So, for me, like I like the intimacy of how close I can get
Yes,
with
okay.
my 680. The fact that
I
it's
see the 680 has a seat next to, yeah.
the fact that it's a physical medium, that it's a singular artifact, means that myself and my subject are doing something together, are creating something unique just of that moment together. Digital is great. Medium format is super fun, but only Polaroid allows you both that intimacy and that kind of fellowship with another person.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I feel that.
it's an act of creation that for portraiture, that requires other people. And
Yeah.
they're not just mannequins, we're making something together.
I totally feel that too. Can we get a hand, just like a round of applause? That's a
For
great
fellowship.
answer. That's a great answer.
For communion.
That is a great answer. I like games, as you may or may not know, and I would like to play a game with you, Lou.
Let's do it.
Bret Watkins and Abel Silva, can you raise your hand here? We got Bret behind the camera and Abel over here. Bret and Abel have placed into a bowl a set of phrases or words that relate to instant film.
Okay.
We are going to exchange the bowl back and forth and try to get the other person to guess the word that's on it. You can say anything except the word that's on it.
Right.
We have a bowl from my kitchen. Yes! And we have a 1 minute timer here, which I think I can operate upside down. Let's see, 1 minute. Okay, so we're gonna have a minute each. We're gonna each go twice. So your minute is about to start. Are you ready?
Yes. So ready.
I think start probably starts it. Okay, and start.
The best film?
SX70, Polaroid, Polaroid film,
The best Polaroid film?
peel apart film, pack film, Spectra,
You know, there's a time involved.
time zero, Polaroid
yeah.
time zero, SX70.
I messed it up this
Wow,
time.
okay, that's, boo. Yeah, keep going.
Oh, but there's more?
You have 1 minute.
Oh,
You have
fantastic.
36 seconds.
Oh, wow. Okay. How are you paying attention to how many images you have?
Frame counter.
Okay. And,
8-shot frame counter.
okay.
10-shot
Great,
frame
that's
counter.
Great. Whew. What's the opposite of it being on?
Frame counter is off by
Yeah.
2 shots?
Yeah.
Okay,
mean,
next.
that's-
That is
okay.
actually crazy. You guys are nuts.
Oh, okay. It was the last military collaboration.
SX69? SX70?
Thank you.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Time.
Ah,
Wow, we
okay.
might need to do more
Okay.
than 2 rounds.
I can do this. Now that I.
Oh, yeah, now you know how to do it.
Oh, now.
Okay, all right. Well,
So
I'm
put
gonna do
this
it
one
now.
back?
What was that one? That was SX.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna start it. Let's see. All right, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, this is something you put in front of the lens that makes things go goofy.
Filter.
Yeah. This is a web series hosted by Ben Fraternelli.
In an instant.
Very good. This is stuff that we shoot, but it's not so good anymore.
Impossible Project Film.
No, so another term for that?
Expired.
Yes.
Crushing.
This is when the, not the moon, but the,
Sun.
and not a, and something that you might
Sun 600.
Something you might execute someone with?
Guillotine.
No, like in like a squad, you line up people.
Execution.
No, like what would you
Firing
use?
squad.
No, what would you use?
A gun.
Yes, okay. So the
Solar gun.
no, you have so the first word was
Sun.
the second word is okay.
All right.
You'll get that
All
one
right.
and you'll be like, I know that was actually an insane
Sun
one.
gun? Sun gun?
Okay, we'll do one more minute each, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, see, this is not easy, guys. Hopefully this is entertaining. Okay, I'm gonna start. Okay, and I'm gonna.
Is this entertaining?
All right. Okay, I'm about to start the clock.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Two-tone.
Duochrome. Nice.
Predecessor of the current high-end camera.
I2 SX70, predecessor of the current high-end. Oh, I1.
Warhol's camera.
Big Shot. Oh, you're killing this one. He's warmed up.
Not LiDAR.
Sonar. Oh my God.
What if you want to do it twice?
Double exposure. Yeah. 20 seconds.
Fuck. At the beach or music?
Polaroid radio.
I don't even know what this is.
Skip, you skip it.
Pass.
10 seconds. I'll give you this even though time's running out because it's your last one.
Oh God. I don't. It's a certain. You're taking it up.
Exposure compensation.
Rising, like a rising, an elevator. Another word for an elevator.
A lift.
Okay, and what kind of lift? It's a photographic.
Oh, emulsion lift. Hey! Okay. All right. We're getting light in the bowl here. I think you might be ahead of me by quite a bit. I have 3 left. Or I've only have 3, and I think you just kind of went nuts on that. So.
Sorry.
Lou went goofy.
I was in the zone.
All right, let me try to clear the bowl then. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Start. Okay, the type of material that people wish would return, but probably not happening.
Material?
Yeah, the type of shooting material that.
Peel part film.
Yes. Oh, I got the one that's really hard. Okay, so you had the first word.
Standard tones.
Not the moon, but the
Sun.
firing squad.
Gun.
Okay,
Sun
what's
gun.
a phrase where
Shoot the moon?
I'm gonna skip this.
Yeah, pass.
Oh, okay. So you got to clean these because they are
Rollers.
and
Dirty.
yeah. Who is Daddy?
Me.
Founder of Polaroid.
Oh, Edwin Land.
Edwin Land. Yeah. Okay. Another dead format was a bit wider.
Spectra.
Got it. Something that Edwin Land says in the intro of In an Instant.
Impossible.
Okay, that one maybe you won't get. All right, let's go back to the one that's not the moon, but the
Sun.
and then
Oh,
the weapon.
Gun. Sun.
What's a phrase
gun.
you might say when you're super stoked? You're like out there, you're about to shoot, it's like boom. All right, time. It's
what
sun's
is it?
out, guns out.
Oh wow.
That got a big
That's a
O.
tough one.
All right, and the
That's
other
a
one
tough
was
one.
the kind of photography that will become part of the human being.
What?
Lou, if you were a viewer of an instant, you'd know. All right, everybody, hand for Lou. Hand for Lou. Wait, count your clues on the way out. Yell them from the crowd. Very good job.
Good. Hold on.
You get to keep those. Audience pick.
Everybody ready? Get a little closer. Fantastic.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. We can put the clock away. Somehow that actually operated well. All right. As I stall, let's do another giveaway. Again, this doesn't really correlate to anything. Next, we are going to give away the MoMA camera. This is a new release. This one's pretty exciting, I gotta say. What was the first Polaroid instant camera? Hand over there? Oh man, okay, all right. Kyle, that's kind of crazy if I pick Kyle. Yeah, all right. All right, Jeremy over here? No, not the Model 90. Hand in the back, Tyler? Yes, the Model 95. As the story goes, they only produced a very limited amount, not realizing its popularity, and that thing flew off the shelves. Enjoy that. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Next up, Ruben from Polaroid. Ruben, come up here. Welcome to the Grindhouse.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Grind. Okay, Ruben, I'm gonna have to have you once again remind me how to pronounce your name.
Oude Nijhuis.
Oude Nijhuis.
Ruben Oude Nijhuis.
Okay, Ruben. Welcome to New York.
Thank you. Thank you
Welcome.
so much.
This is your first time in New York,
Yes,
yeah?
first time in the US. Yeah.
Great to have you. What are your first impressions of
I love Shake Shack.
Shake Shack?
Shake Shack. I love Shake
A
Shack.
local delicacy.
Yeah, went twice in one day.
Went
so,
twice, and
yes.
what did you get at Shake Shack?
Close to the Polaroid US office at the Flatiron building. It was really good.
Did you get a shake or a
No,
shack?
I got the burger.
No shake?
No shake, just the burgers.
Okay, well, we'll work on that. Maybe we can warm you up to that. Okay, so Ruben, please walk us through what your role is at Polaroid.
All right, so I started at Polaroid around 4.5 years ago as a quality technician for film and cameras. And then I got promoted to the Amsterdam office, where I am a product manager for film and for accessories, and I do a lot of community stuff. I worked on the 20x24 camera with Hattie and John, and do a lot of cool stuff.
At what capacity did you work on the 20x24 camera?
I helped restore the camera with my colleague Jennifer from the Enschede factory. We did it for about a year together, and now it's up and running, and you guys are operating it. So, yeah.
So,
really cool.
what is a film coordinator doing?
Basically, a lot of cool special editions that you guys shoot with, like the monochrome frames or the GM Barba edition, Basquiat, Pantone Color of the Year. That's the stuff that me and my colleague Tom, we come up with, and then we coordinate it and we try to get it out in the market and steer the design team what designs we want and what we want on the packaging, which photography, how many units do we want to sell, all the cool stuff, basically. Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So,
Yeah,
so
is
you're
very
ideating and then seeing things through to their production.
Yes, exactly.
And do you have is there just you and this guy Tom, or are
Yeah,
there?
it's mostly us.
You're like, let's do Pantone Color of the Year.
Yeah,
And Tom's
yeah.
like, let's do it. And you guys just do it.
Yes.
That's insane.
And it's
That's
just
so
us,
cool.
It's just us sitting next to each other at our desk and just
Facing out.
just
toward a
like
crowd,
this,
right?
exactly.
Yeah,
just chatting, and then we're like, oh, what if we do this, or what if we do that? What if we do another GM Barba? And that's how film packs get made, basically.
That is so cool. So you, as far as I know, you were like a Polaroid fan before
absolutely.
being employed by Polaroid. So I think it's kind of this ideal world that all of us maybe could dream of is like, we love Polaroid so much, you end up working there.
Yeah.
You're saying like, let's do a Paul G film, and you do it. So what was that process like, going from just being a fan to a guy who's doing that?
Well, so I started shooting Polaroid and instant photography around 8 years ago. Started collecting cameras, started with SX70, Spectra, rest in peace, and 600, 680, all of the cool cams. And then at some point I saw that there was a quality technician vacancy. That's how you say that, right? Vacancy available.
Vacancy, very good.
And I applied, and I had my job interview. And one thing I remember I did, usually at job interviews, they ask you, like, can you tell us something about yourself? I brought Polaroid pictures of my life, and later they said that's how I got in, because they saw how much passion I had, and yeah, here we are.
That's so cool.
And now I'm here in the US at Polacon.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So I imagine that it's a little strange or different to go from being like an artist, shooter, to working at the place that you love.
Absolutely.
So like, what is that like, and
it is
how
magical.
Has it changed?
It is magical. No. It's,
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, it is definitely like, I remember chatting with so many colleagues from Enschede and from the Amsterdam office before I worked there, And I remember looking at the Polaroid picture, seeing the frame code on the back, and now I work there and I recognize which machine the film comes from and when the production date was, what shift the operators worked at. So it's really cool. It's like falling into place, all of the stuff. And it's still magic every day. I walk in the Enschede factory, see all the old machines. It's just, yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow. So you work in Amsterdam, and then you go in between the factory and Amsterdam?
Yeah. So I'm originally from, it's very close from Enschede.
Oh, wow.
So whenever I go to Enschede, I just stay with my mom. It's a good excuse to go to see.
Shout out to all the moms out there. I got one too. Let's go.
Yeah, just visit my mom, and then I drive with my car through Germany, because it's very close to Germany on the Autobahn, and I just drive through the factory and yeah, just have a good time there.
So it's a factory, and like when I went to the factory, I was warned it's a factory, don't get too excited. But I felt that there was sort of like a sincere magic that's happening in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that still exist for you every time you go?
Every day, every single day, yes. Whenever I'm at the factory, I just take a walk at the machine park, and I see all the old machines, and I hear the sounds of the frames getting produced, and it's like the heartbeat of Polaroid. It's there. Because without the factory, you wouldn't have Amsterdam, you wouldn't have Monheim, you wouldn't have all the other places. Like, it is the beating heart of everything. It's why we're all still here, I think.
Okay, wow. Well, speaking of factories, I don't know if you can really, I should have probably asked if I can ask this, but last year an article came out sort of essentially revealing that there is a new factory under construction. Mm-hmm. Can you say anything about that? No. Okay.
I wish.
I had to ask. It's journalism 101.
Just that it's going to be in Hengelo, which is like 10 minutes away from Enschede, so it's still
so you can still stay with your mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that was like a really important aspect. Yeah, still staying with mom. I'm sure she's happy to hear.
Yeah, she will be happy.
So from the inception of you and Tom sitting at a desk, staring forward, coming up with something, to the execution of it, what are some of the challenges that happen between ideation and execution?
So we have a lot of crazy, wild ideas, but of course the factory capacity is quite limited because we're working with all of these old machines that need downtime to get maintenance, etc. So we have a lot of cool stuff that we want to do, but we can't always do it because of the old machines. We have different tolerances that we need to keep in mind. For example, if we have cool chemistries that we want to come up with, the dyes might not be stable. Like I hear everybody asking for black and red, black and orange, and I would love to do it, but some of the dyes are not stable enough.
It's nice to hear someone say it, though.
Yeah, true. So that's one of the things that we need to keep in mind whenever we think of crazy stuff.
It's cool to even be facing those challenges. I mean, I'm going to spin this now. Okay, we're going to do some trivia with you. Okay, as I have, how many questions is here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 trivia questions for Ruben.
Okay, that's
as a fan of Polaroid, we'll see how
Don't put me on the spot here.
Okay, no, 100%. That's what this is all about. Okay, the first question, and everyone think about what you would answer. The Polaroid Go is the latest format introduced by Polaroid. Can you name the last new format introduced by Polaroid before that?
Before that, that is a good question. Was it iZone? Maybe?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And fun fact, the iZone was introduced in 1999, and I think we have this like.
That's my birthday.
Oh, there we go. Well, that's good luck. We have this memory maybe of Polaroid in like rapid decline at that moment. The iZone was the best-selling camera in the world in 1999 and 2000.
Wow. That's
so crazy. It just goes to show, you can go little and it's still okay. All right. Okay, this is a kind of a weird question. Who produced integral instant film for longer? Fujifilm or the original Polaroid company?
I feel like this is a trick question. Fuji?
Good answer, that is correct. Fujifilm has produced instant film for 44 years and the original Polaroid company for 36. It's pretty crazy. Okay, over under. How many distinct instant film types, including monochrome variations, are there?
That I don't know.
And the over under is 12.
Okay, let's
So is that over or under that amount?
Over?
Wow, I didn't even write the answer. Oh, I did. It's actually under.
Under, okay.
There are 10 total instant film types currently available. SX70.
Currently.
Currently.
Oh, I thought you mean of all time.
No, yeah, no, you said,
then
yeah,
it's
no,
under.
of course,
Yeah,
of
then
course.
it's under.
It's SX70, SX70 black and white, 600 I-type color, 600 I-type black and white, Instax square, wide, mini, and Super Sense black and white, Choco and color, and also 20 by 24 shout out. So actually
Shout out.
it's probably about 12. All right, so I think that about does it for trivia. Ruben, thank you so much for
you
joining
so
the
much.
show. Thank you so much. And by mention of 20 by 24, that cues the giveaway of this interesting 20 by 24 hat, which is actually really cool. This is a new hat. This is not vintage. This is a new hat bearing the 20 by 24 insignia. I need a volunteer who is willing to attempt to name 10 instant cameras. I need 10 instant cameras. We got a hand back there. Previously redacted his answer, so let's see if you finish this one. Okay. You're on 9. All right, there we go. I'm gonna throw it like a frisbee. No. Very good. No one was injured. And for our final guest, do we have Kyle Depew in the crowd? Do we have a Kyle Depew in the crowd? Oh my God, knocking over the set. Mike, you are a hot mess. Take a seat, Kyle. Kyle, imagine we never met until this very moment. Do you think we would get along?
I think we would pretty quickly get along. Yeah, I think that's inevitable.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right, tell everyone here if they don't know because they're just a blithering fool.
Yeah.
Who are you?
My name is Kyle Depew. I'm the founder of Brooklyn Film Camera. I also do other things, but that's kind of the thing I am known for here, I guess, in this respect. And I organize Polacon every year. Polacon NYC every year.
Nice. Yes. I guess we should mention for a second that Polacon NYC is kind of awesome.
Yes.
Like this has been very, we're only on day 2, but it's been really cool this year. The amount of fresh faces that have come for the first time, international travelers who are here, a lot of West Coast representation. Shout out to everyone from the West Coast. Yeah. So it's awesome that Polacon has found a home over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Kyle, that everyone's kind of been wondering. Where did the name Brooklyn Film Camera come from? You've got Brooklyn Film and Camera.
Yes. Yeah.
I know these names better than I know my own grandma. But together, walk me through how you sort of did that.
It was kind of, believe it or not, there was a process in which I was reaching out to a lot of people in the industry and kind of like ideating names and like thinking of potentials. There's something delightfully literal about it, and it's kind of like keyword, you know what I mean? So it like works well on the internet. But I guess that's kind of it. Yeah, we sort of had this like little month-long ideation period. And
Well, do you remember any other names?
Well, I remember, yeah, I do. We were stuck on, I was really thinking about Brooklyn Camera Hunter. Like kind of copying
like
Japan camera hunter,
yeah,
right?
Like infringement.
And I reached out to Bellamy, and he went, I don't know. I don't care if you do it, but I don't know if that's the move. And I went, yeah, it's not the move. So we did Brooklyn Film Camera.
Damn, that's cool. I mean, it's great to hear the origin story.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like you to close your eyes for a second. Imagine you're at a congressional hearing about film photography. Big Digital wants to ban it, claiming film is not only bad for the environment, but also digital is way easier. How do you defend film photography in front of the entire nation and all the people here today? And
Wow.
you can open your eyes now.
Okay. That's an incredible question. Wow. I mean, I would say, I would get a little emotional with it, I guess, because I do feel emotional about it. I think that there is something to the tangible world, right? It's just like beyond, I think, and we're seeing this in so many elements of life, like there's increased social isolation and increased rates of depression, substance abuse, things like this. And I think this is largely attributable to the fact that we just like live these odd like digital lives or something, or our lives are mediated by digital. in a way that I think is becoming quite unhealthy, and I think it's apparently and abundantly clear. So I think art forms where, and this isn't just relegated to film, but art forms in general where you're touching stuff and you're using your hands and you're in the room with other people, I think that's a very healthy thing. So I guess I have to get RFK on board with
Yes.
that.
And Congress goes wild! Kyle, you just saved film. I just want you to know that.
Nice.
Okay, so I think earlier today or yesterday you were buffing people over there.
I was buffing people.
So what is that? That's like a car buffer and you're putting on people?
Yeah, raise your hand if you have had a buffing experience.
Nice. That's a lot of the
Nice,
crowd
okay,
who's been buffed.
all right.
And plenty more today, well, I'm sure will be buffed.
We need to make it happen.
Who is your dream buffing candidate?
Oh man.
They don't have to be
wow. Ooh. Trying to calibrate my answer here.
dead. They can be alive.
My dream buffing candidates are always my friends at Burning Man. I go to Burning Man most years, and
Okay.
this is sort of the origin of the buff. This is like a big Burning Man thing. It feels very good on the body, and it's sort of like rough out there, and it's a nice way to de-stress and kind of release yourself. So yeah, my buds out there. Yeah, they're my favorite people to give the
Okay.
buff to.
You want to buff the burners?
I want to buff the burners.
Okay, that's fair. That's a very Kyle answer. Okay, and I know there've been a lot of puff piece questions here, a lot of easy questions. But I'm gonna put these 3 cameras in front of you right now.
Yeah.
The i2, the Flip, and the SX70. And look at them right in the eyes.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And I want you to rank them. And I want you to tell me why you did that.
Sure. Okay. I will say I'd like to start this. I have less experience with the Flip. I've used the Flip. I'm
Always
gonna
an excuse, man.
yeah, always an excuse. I'm gonna put the Flip as maybe the least.
Okay.
Then we're gonna go. It doesn't maybe be controversial. I'm gonna go i2 and SX70. This is preferential.
All right. The crowd is into that.
Now, this is preferential to me. I mean, I'm just such a sucker for the design of the SX70. I love the. For me, it's more than the capability, maybe, and it's more just about the feel and the look and the way that I like to touch it. I like that there's not a screen on it. I respect the i2. The i2 can do a lot more ostensibly than the SX70, but I'm an SX70 guy. That's where I'm at.
Okay. And so a lot has been made about the plastic lenses on these 2 cameras.
Yes. Yeah.
I personally think it's a bit of a misnomer, but I'd like you to maybe just explain to the crowd here why glass doesn't mean end game.
Yeah, this is something that I'm still wrapping my head around, quite honestly, and there's some Polaroid folks here who could speak in a broader way about this, but modern engineering allows plastic optics to sort of reach the level of vintage glass optics or excel it. This is just a fact. So there's still this pervasive online debate about, well, you gotta shoot glass, and ostensibly that's not true anymore. Which is pretty neat. Modern engineering has come a long way, and Polaroid is leaning in that direction, for many reasons. But you can get a great image with a plastic lens.
Yeah, I think it's we've just reached a different era of the manufacturing of optics, and especially on a Polaroid frame, it is difficult to tell. Okay, I'm gonna spin the wheel. All right, it's true or false time, Kyle.
Oh my God.
Just ignore whatever it says. I'm just... the wheel is just a bit. Okay.
It's high pressure.
Yeah. True or false? Polaroid once licensed their film technology to Fujifilm to allow them to sell instant film in Japan, in exchange for Fujifilm's VHS technology, ultimately leading to the creation of Instax.
True.
Correct. True or false? The SX71 was announced in 1981, but was put on indefinite hold when Edwin Land resigned in 1982.
That would have been awesome. This is false, unfortunately.
False! Correct. True or false? If you put Polaroid 600 film through an X-ray scanner, it probably won't be so bad.
Ooh, you should not scan your Polaroid 600 film, even though it's less than 800 speed and all the guys at the airport tell you it's okay. Don't do it.
Don't listen to the guys at the airport.
They don't know what
they're talking about.
They don't know.
Yeah, just a quick PSA. Definitely get that stuff hand checked. It will get wrecked.
Also, not to prolong it, but one thing I was told at one point that stuck with me is that X-ray or film remembers X-ray. So it might you can get through once, but then if you bring it back, for instance, it's gonna multiply.
It compounds the effect.
It compounds the effect,
So to speak.
So to speak.
So to speak. The last true or false question is, today we have 600 film, but there was once 500 and 700 film as well. True or false?
False. Is this true?
That is actually true.
What? In integral format?
Sorry, I didn't mean
or
to
in-
scream so loud. Yes, there was an integral type 500 film, which is the code for Captiva.
Whoa. Oh,
And
yeah.
I honestly didn't really know this. I looked it up. 700 film was the designation for Spectra.
Whoa.
So-
Was it 700 ISO?
No.
Oh.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, none of this really makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah. None of it ever did. Kyle, thank you so much for being on the show. Get in here.
I love you and I'm in love with you.
Oh my God. All right. Now, as I said earlier, I really want some audience questions. So if anyone the entire time thought of any questions, we have a couple of minutes here. Raise your hand. Okay, Wolfie here.
What was your favorite episode to shoot?
Wolfie asked, what was my favorite episode to shoot? I think that is actually a fairly easy answer because going to the factory was definitely like the moment of my lifetime with regard to In an Instant. It was almost like, could have been the finale of the show. Like I felt like, yeah, okay, we like did that thing. And it's crazy that it was like 2 years ago now. Like I need to go back, and whenever that new factory comes, whenever it's coming, I hope to go back out there and shoot, and that'll be my new favorite at that point.
If some magic power were bestowed on you and you could bring back any Polaroid film, what would you bring back?
If I could bring back one Polaroid film, I think that I would bring back type 665 Polaroid film or type 85 Polaroid film. Those are the 3x4 or 3x3 peel apart films that produced a positive and a negative. Type 55 is also up there, obviously, but there was something about the fact that you got 10 negatives in that, origami that was so magical, and they're so beautiful. And I know that it's possible also to revive. I know that your question had magic with in there. Hopefully someone actually can practically do it, and I'm still holding out hope that it's possible, even in one-shot packs. What was your name? Steven, thank you, Steven. We have a question right here. This camera? There was actually going to be a giveaway question about this, but I got kind of excited. This is the only knockoff SX70 camera that was ever produced. This is the Berkey Keystone Everflash. Berkey Camera was a company that kind of would iterate on whatever the most popular camera was that existed. So like they'll take a Kodak Super 8, there's a Berkey Super 8. There's a Kodak peel apart camera, there's a Berkey peel apart camera. And they were pretty plasticky and kind of low quality. But they figured, okay, Polaroid just made an integral film camera, we'll just do that too. So they duplicated the insides of the SX70 and made a box type camera that Edwin Land was very unhappy about and immediately told them, we're gonna destroy you and your company if you don't pull this off the shelves. So these are still out there, they still work. This actually, when I first fired the flash, exploded, there was smoke and it smelled terrible, but these do still work. They're really solid and kind of an underrated camera. So the Berkey Keystone Everflash, if you're interested in a rare piece of Polaroid history, that's the one for you. I got time for one more question. Do we have one more question? Right here.
If you could shoot instant film with any medium format camera, given sensors aren't compatible, what would it be?
So if I could shoot an instant film format with any medium format camera, that's a really good question. So there are currently, I would say there's two options for me. It's either the RB67 or the Hasselblad 500cm. Both cameras technically can be like rigged to shoot instant film right now, but I think if the Hasselblad could somehow project an image that covered Polaroid 600 film, or there was like a really good Go film back for that, looking at the engineers in the crowd, that would probably be, like I would love to be ripping Go in my Hasselblad. So I think that would be my choice. All right, thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching In an Instant. Go ahead and drop your donk on that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more live episodes, reviews, breakdowns, and all things instant. Bye.